We be live. Hey everyone. I hate to be correct about this prediction that I had, but I was correct, unfortunately. And we can see that Trump is not somebody that could be trusted. Trump is very unpredictable and all over the place, very emotional, and he just does based on he does the thing that the latest people that have managed to influence him do. So, as I predicted, the Islamic Republic's only chance for survival was for Trump to come and save them and basically get in the way of Netanyahu. And he did that. He eventually did that. He initially started taking some better positions because some neocons were having some good influence on him. And then eventually, the isolationist crowd within the MAGA movement managed to get it to him, and he started noticing how much his popularity was being, you know, doing a nosedive right after he did the Fardo attack, and he panicked, and now he's going full on anti-Israeli mode, unfortunately, and he's even taking the side of the Iranian regime. Hey, Susie's here. Hi, Susie. Susie's saying hi. And yeah, guys, I will respond to your questions in the chat. And yeah, we were MAGA for I think half a day, and now we're back to being against them. So just listen to how he talks here. After, by the way, he had this weird. Let me actually give you context for people who don't know how we got here because it's insane. Because the ceasefire that he suggested, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know who he was even talking to. Where did he get this ceasefire? Uh, he just came out like, "Hey, I negotiate. Congratulations, everyone! I have this ceasefire. I talked to everybody, and now everyone is happy, and now you can stop fighting." And then the Iranian regime side came and like, "What ceasefire?" And the Israeli side like, "Yeah, what ceasefire?" And then the Iranian regime side said like, "Okay, we don't have a ceasefire, but we can stop fighting because we're basically being raped right now. If you guys want." And then they shot some missiles anyways after the ceasefire was supposed to be finished. And then Israel was like, "Oh, okay, I guess there is no. I don't know what your ceasefire Trump is talking about, but I guess if they're shooting missiles, we're going to respond." And then they respond, and Trump gets really, really angry, more with Israel than with the Islamic Republic, even though it was first the Islamic Republic that first violated the imaginary ceasefire that Trump I think he had a dream. I think Trump had a dream. This is my theory, okay? Yeah, okay. Barter in the chat is saying, just say it, Armin. He's a charlatan. He's all about Trump and his own personal gain, not even the US. Yep, it's not America first. It's not Israel first, like some anti-Israeli are saying. It's Trump first. It's just Trump, Trump, Trump. Whatever serves his ego. But this is not really my theory, but let's go with it. My theory is that Trump just had a dream that he had the Israelis and the Iranian regime officials together, and everything went well, and they all had a ceasefire agreement, and he just woke up and he's just like, let's just go with it as if that was the real thing. And he just came and announced it, and everybody was confused because people were like, who are you talking to? I mean, even the Iranian officials can't get a hold of their supreme leader who's hiding in a rat. So how did you manage to get a hold of the people on the Iranian regime side that could have actually any influence on a ceasefire? Like it was all just made up. So Israel was waiting to see what the ceasefire is that they're talking about, but before they even had to wait, the Iranian regime side violated it. So Israel, like, I guess there is no ceasefire. So they responded. And look at this. And this is what Trump's reaction was. Let's actually play it. This is an embarrassment, by the way. Let me just play the whole thing before I respond to it. We just got a super chat, by the way. Delta is saying, I also blame BB for caving to Trump. Both sucks. I don't blame BB for this at all because BB understands that right now, like losing United States as an ally at this key moment is devastating. I mean, technically, we don't even. Let me actually defend BB for a second, because I mean, has Israel accepted this ceasefire? I think they should just accept the ceasefire for half a second before Israel gets an excuse to be able to go back in. I mean, we saw this in Gaza and in Lebanon. We had a gazillion ceasefires agreed upon and then broken because the other sides could not just basically keep their missiles in their pants, right? They keep having to use them. So Israel is like, oh, I guess here we go again. Here, we're like, thank you for giving me the excuse to just come back in again. So I think this might be the same situation. Like BB has to basically be very careful about the balance, because he needs to make sure that he doesn't piss off the Americans too much, but at the same time, the ceasefire should end. This ceasefire should be broken one way or another, because the Israeli people would be allowing their greatest enemy to recover right when it's closest to its complete demise, then allowing them to basically survive and recover, it would be a betrayal of every single Israeli people. Okay, forget about, like, I mean, as the Israeli government, forget about the Americans and the Iranians. Your responsibility, you are betraying, you're violating your responsibility to your own citizens, to the safety of your own citizens, if the government that has promised over and over and over again for the past 46 years that it will annihilate Israel, right now at the point that they are almost collapsing, if you allow them at this moment to survive and recover, that is a failure of the Israeli government in their responsibilities to their own citizens. And I do not think that they are, and I hope they're not idiotic enough to allow the Islamic Republic to survive. I hope they're not that. I hope they're not that stupid. I mean, I don't think so. So we'll see. And then, yeah. So this ceasefire, I hope it just like is gives. I hope it just gives some breathing room. Here's what I hope. I hope the ceasefire just gives a little bit of a breathing room for Israel to to recover when it comes to their air defense, because I know once it gets depleted very fast, once the Iron Dome and the other domes and everything else is being used, it takes a short time to basically buy the new ammunitions and refill all the missiles that they need to defend the Israeli people. Okay, and it will take less of a time for Israel to recover than for the Islamic Republic to recover. So a short ceasefire might be good for Israel. A long ceasefire is bad, because that would mean that the Islamic Republic will also recover. But a short ceasefire will make Israel recover without the Islamic Republic recovering. So here's the upside of it. Okay. So that's the upside of all of this. And also, Mr. Mag just used his 12-month membership to saying, hi, Armin, hi, all, Javid Shah from Tel Aviv. Well, thank you. And I'm Israel Kai from an Iranian. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you being a member for 12 months. Anyways, let's go and listen to this depressing, embarrassing video by Trump, like the statement by Trump, and let's respond to it. Let's listen to this for a second.
The peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
So she's asking Trump, do you think Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
So first of all, by the way, I saw a super stick here. I will respond to it soon. So first of all, here's his first defense of the Iranian regime. Okay, first of all, he's saying like, yeah, I think they're committed to peace. Okay, so even with, you know what? Let me just play it all the way through, and then I will go through it second by second, because the whole thing is an embarrassment. Let me just play the whole thing first.
The peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Okay, first of all, I don't think you. I honestly think you don't know what the fuck you're doing. One day you come and say regime change might be a good idea, and tomorrow, the next day you come and say like, oh no, regime change would be a horrible idea. So yeah, Trump. I think Israel knows exactly what they're doing. Honestly, I think the Ayatollahs also know exactly what they're doing. As evil as they are, at least they know what they're doing. Trump. I think the only person that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing is you. I think both the Israelis and the Ayatollahs, as evil as they are, everybody know that they're exactly what they're doing. You seem to be the only confused one in this whole thing. Okay. By the way, thank you so much for the generous super sticker, Mo the Goat. Really appreciate that. And also, Rainbow Ash is saying, I've been called a Zionist for supporting your message. Well, I mean, you are a Zionist and you should be proud of it. I'm a Zionist. I'm proud of it. As long as if you believe Israel needs to exist, Israel has the right to exist, and Israel has the right to defend itself, you're a Zionist. Okay? Just wear it as a badge of honor. And thank you for being a member for 1 month. So let's actually go through this line by line and show you how embarrassing and disastrous this whole thing is. Okay, watch this. Hold on. So they're saying the lady is saying the Iranian regime violated the ceasefire agreement because they did it first, obviously. And she's asking if Trump thinks that they're still committed to peace. Okay, so here's his first mistake.
That Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Really, Trump. You think the Islamic Republic is committed to peace? You think that peace is what the Islamic Republic wants? Do you understand that? Do you understand the IRGC? Do you understand, guys? Wait, let me do a lesson for you guys here. Do you guys understand what the R in IRGC stands for? Guys, tell me in the chat, what does the R in the IRGC stand for? What does the Quds force mean? The R in IRGC stands for revolutionary. What are they revolting against? What is the revolution against? No, it's not republic, it's revolutionary. Okay? But they are already the government. So why are they the revolutionary? Because the revolution was not against the Pahlavis. The revolution was against the current world order. The entire point of the IRGC, so taking out the Pahlavi was phase one, taking out so that they could get Iran, taking out Israel was phase two, so that they could get the Middle East, and phase three is to take out the West and the United States as the head to basically change the entire current world order, which they called the imperialist West and Zionism world order, and bring out an Islamic imamate. That's why they call themselves revolutionary. Do you understand when they call themselves the Quds force? You know what Quds means? Quds means Jerusalem. They named their main army, their main intelligence and foreign military operation after their destination that they're trying to capture. And this is the regime that you're dealing with. And Trump is saying these people are committed to peace. Trump is saying these people are committed to peace. By the way, guys, I see a lot more super chats coming, but let me finish this analyzing this video, and then I will respond to the super chat. Okay, let's continue.
They violated, but Israel violated it.
So you're like, oh, they violated it, but Israel violated it as well. How could you be the second? Guys, does he know how violations of ceasefires work? How could you be the second to violate a ceasefire? Once a ceasefire is violated, then there is no more ceasefire for you to violate. Do you understand how that works? Let's say there's two. First of all, the ceasefire was imaginary, anyways. He made it up. But let's say there was a ceasefire. If one party violates that ceasefire, then if the second party responds, they're not violating anymore. What are they supposed to do if they're attacking us? Like, well, we cannot respond. We're in a ceasefire. Like, they're attacking us, and like, okay, stop responding because you're in a ceasefire, but they're violating it. Well, you shouldn't violate it. How am I violating it? There's no more ceasefire, you fucking moron. Like, oh, they violated, but Israel is violated as well. Like, he's basically acting like Israel is more at fault here. Like, when he says but, he said like, yeah, the Iranian side violated it, but when he says but, it means like as if the Israeli one was a bigger deal. He's taking the side of the Iranian regime against the main ally of the United States in the Middle East.
The two.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before.
Yeah, because they shot at Tel Aviv and they killed 4 or 5 people. You fucking idiot. So what are they supposed to do?
The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy.
That's exactly what you do. Before the cease, in fact, if you say that you have until this moment and after that you're not supposed to do any attacks, then you have to make sure that you finish everything you were supposed to do. Like, holy shit, we have a new deadline that we didn't know. Like, we need to we need to do everything that we can in the couple of hours that we have left. That's exactly what everyone does when they get a notification of a ceasefire coming and they know that they have to rush and get everything done before that hour. That's what everyone does when that ceasefire time is announced. Okay, what the hell?
Happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning.
Did you hear that? He said, I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy with Israel. He's more unhappy with Israel. He's more unhappy with Israel than the Iranian regime. It's unbelievable.
Because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land.
Look, he's making an excuse for first of all, that rocket apparently killed 5 people. Okay? And he's making an excuse like, hey, they violated the ceasefire, but it was just one rocket. It might have been a mistake. Who knows? Like, maybe like it was an oopsie. Israel just should have forgiven them. It was an oopsie. It was just one rocket. It was just one rocket. It was an oopsie. What the fuck? What the? Okay, like listen to this part again. Like, hey, Israel should have just ignored that one rocket.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, it was just one rocket that took out 5 innocent lives. Exactly, Omid.
Happy with Iran.
Oh, here, let me actually bring it back up.
Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, guys, if you look at what Israel has done in the past 12 days, they seem to know exactly what the fuck they're doing. I mean, everything that we see from Israel seems like they know exactly, more than anyone else ever assumed, what they're doing. They seem to be masters at figuring out what to do exactly. So I don't know what he's on about. Unbelievable. Let me see. We got some super chats. MT is saying, we showed off our B2s, didn't stop the nuke building, and made Israel seize while winning, and Iranians let fear win. Embarrassing all around. So yeah, actually, you know what, MT? it seems like maybe if United States didn't get involved at all. I mean, I know we celebrated United States getting involved with their B-2 bombers and using the Fardo thing and bombing Fardo. We were celebrating that at the beginning, but now that Trump is stopping Israel from finishing its work, maybe it would have been better if you guys just sat this one out completely, because it's not like here's the thing. It's good that Fardo was damaged. I mean, the extent of the damage is still not clear. Okay, I mean, it was good that was attacked like that. But no matter how many times you bomb the regime's nuclear facilities, you're never going to be able to stop their ability to enrich uranium unless you do a regime change. So, given that I'm thinking maybe if Israel was continuing its operations, we might have been only 3 days away from complete collapse. Okay, maybe if we just allowed Israel to do its thing and we would get the regime change, because honestly, if you get regime change, you wouldn't even need to bomb Fardo with the B-2 bombers. You could just go in and with the observation of the new secular liberal country, you could just dismantle it right there without actually using B-2 bombers. So the focus should have been on regime change rather than bombing the nuclear facilities. So yeah, maybe like the B-2 bombing of Fardo was not as much of a gift, as much of a blessing as we thought, because now US getting involved, now because he's involved, he's so embarrassed. Trump is now so embarrassed with his isolationist part of the MAGA that he did this, that he now wants to stop Israel from attacking the regime so that he could make up for the loss of popularity that he's experiencing among the MAGA. So it would have been better if he just didn't attack Fardo and he didn't also stop Netanyahu and he just let Netanyahu do his thing. Maybe we didn't want Americans involved at all. Okay, just get the fuck out of the way. Just get the fuck out of the way and just let Netanyahu do its thing. Okay, how about that? How about that? If you don't want to help, it's okay. Don't help. Just stop helping the Islamic Republic. Okay, how about just stop being a problem? If you don't want to help, at least don't help our enemies. Okay, how about that? How about that? How about that? Fucking shit. Okay, and also, by the way, Emily Schrader, always the best takes. By the way, you have to follow her. You have to follow her. How could you not? She said Trump doesn't think that the lives of 5 Israelis murdered here this morning, but the Islamic regime in Iran are worth defending because he wants a prize. So yeah, this is the result of the missile. So yeah, Israel, you're not supposed to respond to that. Apparently, you're not supposed to respond to that. Oh, by the way, Gagin American also gave us a super chat saying, "Oh, thanks, Satan. I thought I had stopped supporting AR." Okay. Well, thank you for continuing to support us. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, let's actually look at some horrible, other horrible thing, because that's not the end of it, guys. I have Trump. Like you thought that was bad. It gets worse. It gets worse. Look at this tweet by Trump. So I don't know what he's doing anymore, because here's the worst of it. Not only he wants ceasefire. So why are we concerned regarding a ceasefire with the Islamic Republic? We're concerned because at the end of the day, they could recover and start being a huge threat to Israel, the Iranian people, and the whole world after this again, right? And Trump seems to be wanting to help them with that. Okay, we went from maximum pressure on the Islamic Republic, and then also attacking Fardo, and also asking for maybe regime change in Iran is not a bad idea, to now celebrating the Islamic Republic, congratulating them, thanking them, and most horribly of all, opening the door for them to sell their oil to China which violates the very sanctions that Trump himself has put on the Islamic Republic. So Trump posted this, which is basically advocating for something that is illegal given the sanctions that he himself has put on them. Look at this. Trump posted this. Trump is saying China can now continue to purchase oil from Iran. Hopefully, they will be purchasing plenty from the US also. It was my great honor to make this happen. What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, I'm not really happy to tell you I told you so, but I told you so that this man is unpredictable. He's all over the place, and you have no idea what he's going to do one day. Okay, so actually, this guy, I think, explained this very well. Let me see, actually, read this. He's saying this financially rescues the Islamic Republic, basically opening the door now for the Iranian regime to sell its oil to China, saying this financially risk. I mean, by the way, is Qatar responsible for any of this? I don't know. Maybe the plane finally financially paid off for Qatar. So it's saying this financially rescues the Islamic Republic. Oil sales to China would provide the regime with vital hard currency to fund its security apparatus, IRGC, Basij, etc., regional proxies, and internal repression. Guys, Israel is in the chat. Do you guys understand that Trump is now funding the Iranian regime so that it could rearm the people who did October 7th? Do you understand what's happening here right now? Anyways, let me continue. First of all, it undermined the pressure campaign. I mean, what happened to the maximum pressure? Trump went from maximum pressure to maximum support. So undermine the pressure campaign. Sanctions and economic isolations have been key tools to weaken the regime. Allowing or encouraging oil sales would relieve that pressure at precisely the moment the regime is vulnerable. And then it will empower China. China would gain even greater leverage over both Iran and regional dynamics, positioning itself as the economic lifeline of the Islamic Republic while undermining Western influence. Yeah, I mean, what happened to China? What happened to China being the main threat? Trump is now providing China with cheap oil and also providing the Iranian regime with a lot of funds to basically expand their Shia empire. What the fuck is happening? Like, this is insane. And then also this undercuts Israel's efforts. After major Israeli operations that damaged the regime's infrastructure, allowing oil sales will help the regime rebuild. Unbelievable. Am I following this person? Yes. Okay, let me actually look at some of your super chats before I continue. This is not all of it, by the way, because I have more horrible things to show you guys. Somebody's saying full Biden. I wish this is so much worse. Guys, somebody bring Kamala to bed. As bad as the Democrats were, they weren't this bad. They weren't this bad. Democrats wouldn't be like, hey, let's allow the Iranian regime to sell oil to China. They wouldn't do that. They would have been better than this. They would have, like, the pressure on the Iranian regime would have been more on the Democrats than this. What the fuck? Wouldn't it? I mean, as bad as the Democrats were when it comes to appeasing the Iranian regime, they wouldn't be congratulating the Iranian regime. They wouldn't all of a sudden open oil sales from the Iranian regime to China. This is far worse than the Democrats. Okay, let's look at the super chat. Kaveh saying, what do you make of reports saying that the sites weren't destroyed and also that Iran moved its enriched stock before attack? What do you make of Pahlavi saying defections are happening? If true, should we expect to see this soon? Okay, so that's a lot of questions. Let me, first of all, there's two different things, the centrifuges and the enriched uraniums. The enriched uraniums having been moved outside of Fordo before Fordo being attacked, that is very probable. That is the most likely. Like, it would have been idiotic if they left the enriched uranium there. Okay, so that is very high probability. We said that already on day one, that when the Fardo was attacked, that they probably had already moved the enriched uranium out of there. Okay, very likely. If they haven't, they're idiots. Regarding the centrifuges, if they have been damaged enough to be completely destroyed and non-usable anymore, um we don't know. Okay, anybody tells you that we know, they are like, this requires a lot more investigations and assessments, so we have to wait for that. The good thing that might be hopeful is that these are very sensitive, delicate machinery, that just shock waves will destroy them just a little bit. Just lack of energy, a lack of connection to electricity, and just a shock wave will make them useless. So it's high probability. So I'm not talking about the infrastructure of Fardo itself, but what you need to care about is about those centrifuges themselves. They're very complicated, delicate machinery that just a shockwave could basically destroy them. Okay, but whether or not they have been destroyed, that requires a lot more investigation. However, whether they've been destroyed or not, if you think that Iran's nuclear program is completely gone, it's not completely gone. Okay, they probably have other hidden sites that they have enriched uranium facilities and centrifuges. Guys, here's the thing: the only thing that will stop the regime in Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is regime change. There's nothing else. You could basically keep bombing their nuclear facilities forever, and they will eventually get a nuclear weapon. Okay, the only way that you could stop them from getting a nuclear weapon is by regime change. That's it. And also, what do you make of Pahlavi saying defections are happening? He's right about that. They are happening. Regarding how fast, we don't have an analysis on that. We know they're happening. We know that they're happening at a faster compared to before, but how fast exactly? There is no way to collect data on that. But whatever information we do have seems to be promising. And you're saying, if true, should we expect to see this soon? We don't know. But that is the one of the most important things for us to emphasize and focus on if we want to see regime change. And Reza Pahlavi is right to focus on that, because it's one of the most important things that could potentially help us out here. And Prince Steven, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. MT with the super chat saying, been saying all morning it would have been better for us to not get involved. 100%. My only worry is past regime change, scatter of uranium, but Israel could have prevented by facilitating the regime change. My only worry is post-regime change scatter of uranium. Yeah, that's why we need to do it fast, because that's why we need to also support Pahlavi, because the power vacuum right at the beginning is dangerous if we don't get Pahlavi to fill in the vacuum, so that we don't have that risk. Yeah, and also Israel could also right at the beginning enter Iran and just make sure that we don't have that happening. Yeah, so relying on Israel and Pahlavi is our safest bet. The Pahlavi and Israel are basically Pahlavi for internally, Israel for externally. Those are our safest, our only hope for this happening properly. And as you can see, America is unfortunately not reliable. Graham is saying the regime literally tried to murder you. Why are you keeping it alive? Exactly. I mean, they made they made commercials out of their attempt to assassinate Trump, and now he's celebrating him. He's congratulating them. He's thanking them. And again, it gets worse. I'll show you. Gasian American saying Taco Trump always chickens out. Yep, that's true. Seems to be true. Gasian American saying he's our best spy. Red Note tried to warn you all. I mean, I was warning everybody. That Trump is unreliable. I lost a lot of support in this channel for constantly saying that. By the way, where's Sketch Therapy? I want to see if what he, because he supports Trump a lot. Usually he's in the chat. Is he here today? Because I want to see how he wants to defend this. So Skyscraper, thank you so much for the super chat saying chance of popular. Okay, so guys, I don't know if you do use a short format. Sometimes I might not understand what you guys are saying, so please write the full word. Chance of popular uprising now. Now or spoiled by Trump. Okay, so what I could tell by, because I'm in touch with the many Iranians, they are so there's a lot of low morale right now. When, because they were, a lot of Iranians were so optimistic that things are going in the right direction, and you have to see the amount of stress and disappointment and loss of morale among Iranian people because of what Trump is saying right now. The morale was at its peak when Trump came and talked about potential regime change being a good thing in Iran. It was at its peak. And then when he came out and said all these other things, now they have, everybody is so sad, and we need to get them motivated again if we want a popular uprising. So I don't know. I mean, Israel could maybe get the Iranian people motivated again if the ceasefire breaks apart and Israel comes in and takes out more regime assets. Maybe we could get them more motivated, but we cannot. But by the way, guys, there is no way for it to be reason. There is no. It's not reasonable for us to ask the Iranian people to do a popular uprising while there is a war happening. Okay, so there is that. Okay, Duran, thank you so much for the super sticker. Really appreciate your support of the channel. Oh, here, Sketch Therapy is here. So let me see. I'm gonna try to keep an open mind. But saying, uh, Sketch Therapy is saying, don't try to make us change your country. We ease that for you. Do we have to chew your food for you and spit it in your mouths? Or what? Or what does internet opiate? Okay, first of all, Sketch Therapy, what are you talking about? You're American. You're not Israeli. You didn't make it easier. You're making it harder. Like, are you insane? I was expecting a better take from you. This is embarrassing. What are you talking about? Israel is making it easier for Iranian people to do a regime change. United States is making it more difficult. Our We have constantly said our ask for Americans is not to come help us out. Our ask for Americans is just not to make it harder for us. They're making it harder for us. Your president is supporting the Ayatollahs. He's opening oil sales to China so that the Iranian regime could rebuild all that Israel has done to take out. Everything that Israel has worked so hard to eliminate, Trump is now opening the door for the Iranian regime to build. How are you making it easier? How is this making it easier? Are you even watching what's happening? Unless maybe I'm mistaken. Did you change your citizenship? Are you Israeli? Are you speaking on behalf of Israel? You're American. What are you talking about? You don't need to do anything. Look at what you're saying. Don't try to make us change your country. What are you on about? The Iranian people have constantly asked the Americans to just not help the Ayatollahs. They haven't asked the Americans to help them do a regime change. They only asked them to just stop helping the Ayatollahs, which you have constantly have throughout our history. I mean, don't let me remind people that the Islamic Revolution of 1979 wouldn't have even happened if it wasn't because of some support from America. So we're in this mess because of America, and now we're just saying, hey, please, just let us Iranians and Israelis get rid of this evil. Just get the fuck out of the way. Who's making you do anything? We're just asking you to stop supporting this evil regime. Oh, look at this. He's saying you're deluded if you think a tweet is evidence. He says, "I love you today, bombs tomorrow." What oil deal? Show me the paper. What changed on paper? You don't know war. Okay, sketch therapy. Basically, you're saying don't take my president seriously. Yeah, I agree with this. Okay, my president just basically says random shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. When my president says that he's going to do something, he might not. He might not. My president is a clown, and anything that he says cannot be taken seriously because he might do it and he might not. Okay, so if you're, yeah, I agree with that take. Your president, when he says something, it doesn't mean anything. We don't know what he's going to do. Nothing he says is serious. He's not a serious person. Anything that he posts or says cannot be taken seriously. Yes, I agree. Your president is a clown and he cannot be taken seriously. I agree with you on that one. Okay. So let's go. So first of all, he wants to open oil sales to China. Let's go to, okay. Look at this post. I have more posts from this clown of a president. Look at this one. So look at this. When Israel was going in and responding, when Israel was on the way responding to the so-called ceasefire violation by the Islamic Republic, when the pilots were going on the way. So this was in the situation, okay? The Islamic Republic violated the ceasefire. Then the Israelis were responding. This is what Trump posted. Trump posted, Israel, do not drop those bombs. By the way, Sketch Therapy is saying, don't take any of this seriously, guys. Oh, it's a tweet. First of all, it's not a tweet because it's a truce. So you don't even know where your president posts. You're like, oh, it's a tweet. No, it's not a tweet. It's a truth. It's on his own social media account. Okay, and everything he so you're saying when he posts something there, it doesn't mean anything. But so based on Sketch Therapy in the chat, who's a Trump supporter, he's saying none of this means anything. Okay, but if other people think when the president says something, it means something, listen to what the president is saying here. Okay, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do it, it's a major violation. Really, it's a major violation. They're responding to a violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. By the way, he signed his post. You idiot. We can see, like, it's right there. Your name is right there. We know who posted this. Freaking hell. Yeah, we got a super chat saying, is this some sort of 10D chess expert strategy? Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's like how many, like 200D chess. I don't know, man. We got another super chat saying everyone in my country is very, again, guys, by the way, if people think, hey, Trump supporters in the chat, if you guys think like, no, this is a 10D chess move that is really like, you guys don't understand. Oh, you're just reading his post. You shouldn't read his post. He just knows like there's some wisdom in Trump's moves that nobody understands. Okay. Well, it's not just Iranians that are pissed right now. Israelis are extremely pissed right now. So let me ask the Americans. Your allies are very, very pissed right now. America has pissed off not just Iranians, which I know Sketch Therapy has now all of a sudden stopped caring about because he doesn't like us talking bad about his president. Okay, but how about the Israelis? Like the mood in Israel. And by the way, this is how we know that Iranian people and Israeli people are often aligned in their views. Okay, because Americans are divided on this, but Israelis are pissed with Trump and Iranians are pissed. Iranians are very disappointed and Israelis are very disappointed as well. So this shows how in line Iranians and Israelis are. So yeah, very 10D chess move. Let me see. There's some more super chats. Just Gaming Entertainment saying everyone in my country is very angry. So this is from Israel. Very angry and very confused of why is this happening. Something seems fishy. We hope something is happening in the background. Okay, so just gaming entertainment. What's happening in the background? I'll tell you what's because a lot of people think that this is out of character for Trump. It's not out of character for Trump. The man is unpredictable. The man has no principles, and he just does the thing that he thinks is the right thing to do based on the last person that managed to influence him the most. Okay, and right now the reason why you see the sudden shift is because a lot of MAGA isolationists against Gesh therapy. I'm going to be try to be fair here. Not all MAGA. There are many MAGAs who are pro-Israelis and they appreciate Israel and they want to support Israel. But the isolationist MAGAs, a lot of them were some of the biggest fans of Trump. And after the Fardo attack, Trump is noticing they all turning on him, turning against him. And he's trying to recover from that. That's what's happening. That's what's explaining the situation right now. Sam, thank you for the super chat. Sam is saying Israel said from the beginning that we have plans even without US intervention. Yes, Trump intervened only to take credit and play peacemaker. Yes, Israel could take care of everything except Fardo without U.S. intervention. And honestly, we wouldn't even need United States for Fardo if we managed to if Israel just managed to get regime change, then we wouldn't even need to bomb Fardo. Okay. So we didn't need U.S. intervention. We just needed U.S. not to stand in the way. And now United States is pressuring Israel into a ceasefire, and also aiding the Islamic Republic. And by the way, guys, as soon as Trump, I am not tribal. As soon as Trump comes and takes another good position tomorrow, I'm gonna come and cheer him on. I'm not tribal. I'm not gonna be. I'm not. It's not black and white for me. If Trump does something good, I'm going to come on this live, on this channel. I'm going to be like, yeah, that was fantastic. Thank you, Trump. And if he does something bad, I'm going to come on like, that was shitty. What the fuck? What the fuck, Trump? This is what it means not to be tribal. This is what it means to try to be as objective as you possibly can be. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to get it right all the time, but I'm not going to be loyal to a person all the time. If he does something right, I'm going to cheer him. If he does something bad, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's fucked up. I don't like it. That's bad. That's not good. And then Asian American saying, Handmaid's Tale, Gilead was based on Iran. Imagine if Canada recognized Gilead as a legitimate nation. Also, I didn't vote for him. Not all Americans. Yes. And then Sketch Therapy saying 2 weeks of peace equals bombed in 2 days. Meaningless deal. What? 2 weeks of peace equals bombed in 2 days, meaningless deal. Oh, okay. So you're saying that Trump, I think what you're saying is that Trump said that he will have 2 weeks, he will not do anything in 2 weeks, and all of a sudden he bombed the regime in 2 days. So now what he's saying here also is meaningless, because when he said, I will attack in 2 weeks, that was meaningless as well. I mean, honestly, Sketch Therapy, you might be right. And if Trump comes and does a 180 again and goes anti the Islamic Republic, I would do another live. I would be like, yay, guys, Trump is back on the right side of things. Okay. But what do you expect me to do when he comes and celebrates the Islamic Republic and takes his position against Israel? I'm going to come and says that I'm going to come and take a position against Trump when he does that. And you're telling me that don't worry, 2 days from now, all of a sudden he's going to reverse again, given that he has done that before. Okay. When he reverses again, I'm going to come cheer him again. Okay. So you cannot expect me to just have faith in the man that and just believe that he will always come on the right side. No, when he takes a shitty position, I'll shit on him. When he takes a good position, I will come and celebrate him. If you tell me that that's going to happen again and he's going to be on the right side eventually, well, when that comes, I will do a live stream. I'm going to come and say thank you, Trump. Right now, I'm going to say fuck you, Trump. And then when he takes a good position, I'm going to come and say thank you, Trump. I think that's fair. You cannot expect me to come and say thank you, Trump, all the time, even when he has a shitty position. Okay. Just because I have to have faith that this is all just a show. This is all 10D chess. Okay. You cannot expect me to do that. He's saying, he's He's congratulating the regime that has murdered my people. Obviously, I'm going to be pissed off. He's open. He's saying he's making it legal for the Islamic Republic to sell oil to China, making them recover from everything that Israel has done. Obviously, that pisses me off. And Delta saying Trump doesn't play chess. Trump doesn't play chess. He eats the pieces full. Okay, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. He's just no Delta. His wisdom is just beyond anything that any of us could understand. By the way, Sketch Therapy, thank you so much. Even though we're disagreeing, he's sending us a super sticker for support. I appreciate that. That shows like that you have a thick skin. I appreciate that. Asian American with the super chat saying, "Have you seen the World War III AI anime intro?" Nope, I haven't. Anyways, let's actually look at more stuff from Trump that pisses me off. Yeah, okay. So he first came, we celebrated when he started talking about regime change being a good thing. And now he's talking about regime change being a bad thing. I mean, okay, so guys, people who are saying this is a 10D chess by Trump, a 10D, a 10-dimensional chess move by Trump, okay? Explain to me the wisdom behind Trump within 24 hours coming and saying like, hey, what regime change is a good thing for Iran. And then all of a sudden we have this video from him speaking against regime change in Iran, saying that would cause chaos. He basically said, we don't want to see a regime change. We don't want to see a regime change makes chaos. Okay, that's what he said. Can you tell me the wisdom behind changing your mind on whether regime change is good for Iran or bad from Iran for Iran within 24 hours? Yeah, I mean, okay, Trump is like God. He works in mysterious ways. Exactly. Yeah, so look at this video. Look, here's what he's saying now. This is now his new position on regime change.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people. And they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do a great job.
Do you want?
So he thinks we could have a great Iran under this regime. Unlike Netanyahu, who thinks the only way that we could have a great Iran is under a new regime. He thinks that as long as they have no nuclear, he's like, oh, they're great traders. They have a lot of oil. As long as they have no nuclear, they should be great. He's saying that they could be good. They should be fine. He's praising the Islamic Republic because he's talking he's saying no to regime change. As long as they have no nuclear, they should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. He's praising the Islamic Republic. What is the 4D chess move here? Or again, I shouldn't take him seriously because apparently nothing he says matters. This is exactly what he said. Okay, let me actually read what he said. Okay, he says, no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change makes chaos. We don't want to see much chaos. So we'll see how it goes. You know, Iranians, and when he says Iranians, he's not talking about the Iranian people. He's talking about the Islamic Republic because he says he doesn't want regime change. So he's talking about this regime. And he's talking about the people who are in charge of the oil. So it's not the Iranian people. That's the regime. He says they are very good traders. So he's talking about the regime. He's praising them. He said they're very good business people. And they got a lot of oil. Okay, yeah. So I know he's talking about the regime because the Iranian people don't have that oil. The Iranian regime has that oil. And he said they should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear. But other than that, they should do a great job. Not only he's against regime change, he seems to have very high hopes for the Islamic Republic. So he was for regime change. Now he's against regime change, and he's very optimistic about the future of Iran under the Islamic Republic. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is exactly apparently what we wanted. This is crazy. Cove is saying, LMAO, where the fuck is Khamenei? Yeah, I don't know. I hope he's already dead, to be honest. Oh, by the way, guys, we have some major new concerns, okay? Major new concerns, because if the Islamic Republic is not going to fall, yeah, somebody's saying, please tell me it's just a show. I mean, the Trump supporters are going to tell you this is all just a show. I don't think it's all a show. I mean, if you guys have to understand, if this is all just a show, then forget about the Nobel Peace Prize for Trump. We should give him the Oscars. We should give Netanyahu, like, I don't know, because the best Hollywood actors in the world do not act this well. And they have spent years trying to act perfectly. And you're telling me that Netanyahu and Trump, with no practice, have managed to become better actors than most Hollywood actors that this is their job, okay? That's what people are saying when they say, like, oh, this is just the act. I mean, they're the best actors in history without even practicing. Do you understand how much, like, Hollywood actors, how much effort they put in to become good actors, the amount of work they go through since childhood to become good actors? And all of a sudden, Netanyahu and Trump apparently are just natural at it. And all of it, this is just a show. Like, yeah, I mean, okay. Wait, hold on. We got 2 super chats. Riley is saying, as I said to the other day, this Trump guy only cares about himself, and he has a strange obsession with dictators. Yeah, I mean, he wants to be known. It's about his ego. Okay, it's not even about money. I think for Trump, it's not about money. For Trump, it's about his name, his legacy, how people talk about it. I think he's over making money. He's already rich enough that it doesn't matter for him. Yeah, but I think, yeah. Asian American is saying, have you ever done a take on Mossadegh? Let's focus the comments on what's the topic right now. But I am going to do a Mossadegh stream at some point, maybe. The left seems to love and praise him. I feel like I'm missing context. Yeah, Mossadegh was doing an illegal coup against the Shah, and he was basically getting close with the communists and the Islamists. Mossadegh was not a good person for Iran, and we need to actually, and the coup was not against him. He was the one who was doing the coup, and the Shah and the Americans stopped him. So yeah, maybe I should do a stream on that. Andrew is saying, Armin, I read somewhere that support for the Islamic Republic is now close to 20 to 30%. That seems a little high. Any good source on this? I mean, the last data that I've seen seem to suggest that it's under 10%. So I don't know where you're getting this one from. And that was from years ago. And the Islamic Republic has gotten more unpopular since then. So I don't know where you're getting this from, but I got it from Gaman. And they seem to suggest it's under. It was back then. It was under 10%. Oh, we got a super chat from Susanna. Hey, Susanna, our very own CEO is supporting the channel. Thank you, Susanna. Susanna saying, could we take a moment to focus on the good news of all the IRGC and repression forces that were taken out? We haven't even touched on that. LOL. Okay, so let's focus on that for half a second, because I have bad news, Susanna. Oh my God. I wish the next thing I was going to talk about was not this. I mean, it's really good. I mean, okay, let's actually take a moment then before I show the next thing that I was going to show. Okay. It's actually very good that many of the IRGC officers and also a lot of the people focusing on, oppressing the Iranian people were taken out. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of them left, and they have plans. And here are the plans. Emily did a very good job talking about this here. Okay, I see. So she shared this. خبر فوری بلافاصله پس از آتش بس قوه قضاییه از تغییر قانون جاسوسی برای برخورد با برای برخورد با شهروندان خبر داد. Okay, so the judiciary system in Iran is planning on to change the laws immediately after the ceasefire to basically focus on catching and executing spies. They're going to change the laws to basically come after everybody and anybody that suggests that basically showed any support for Israel and showed any form of happiness or liking of anti-regime posts. So the regime noticed how so many Iranians were happy with the Israeli attacks, and they are really angry, and they want blood. They are going to come after the people hard, very aggressively. So Emily is saying here, a ceasefire in the current situation that leaves the regime intact is a death sentence for the Iranian people, a moral outrage and a complete betrayal of the Iranian people. Already the regime is turning on their own citizens. If this moves forward, it's an unforgivable betrayal. By the way, guys, you have to understand that the regime has no more resources. Like they have no ability to attack the Israel or United States. So they will be sitting on all their resources with their only focus to go after the Iranian people. So this is going to be very, very dangerous if this ceasefire goes through without the toppling of the regime. The Iranian people are going to pay a very heavy price for it. And guys, Israel needed only 3 more days to finish its objectives, because especially the remaining objectives seem to have been the bases and units that were focused on oppressing the Iranian people. So right when we got to Israel focusing on those, that's when the ceasefire was forced upon Israel. Right? So we needed like 3 more days, I think. And also maybe taking out Khamenei, which is a shame. So by the way, look at this. Nazanin Bunyadi, who follows me, by the way, she says, yes, I'm getting the same reactions from inside Iran. Okay, so what is she referring to? She's referring to this. It's this person is saying it's 10 a.m. in Tehran, 10 minutes past 3 in Tehran, and this is the first message and reaction from the capital sent to me via Telegram in response to Trump's announcement of a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, shared with my permission. Okay, and the person saying Trump did it, and she said, and they said, I saw it. What was your first thought? And this person in Iran is saying, this is the worst thing that they can do. If they do this, the Islamic Republic will make life hell for the people of Iran. And also she Nazanin also is saying that she's getting a lot of messages from Iran. A lot of Iranians are now very worried. Like they went from being very optimistic, thinking that this might be the end of the regime, and now being extremely worried because they think like now the regime is very angry, and a lot of them celebrated the fall of the regime, and now the regime is going to use all its forces to take revenge on the Iranian people. So we hope that this actually, hold on, this person explains it well. Mr. Armish here has an explanation for all of this, so let's listen to him.
So
let's go higher.
So let's be real. Trump was never interested in liberating Iran. He bombed just enough of the nuclear sites to tell the Israelis, threats neutralized. No need to keep fighting. That's it. And now, after 2 weeks of bombings, the regime's still in power, humiliated, but still there. And as always, the regime takes out revenge on its own people. They go after political prisoners, protesters, anyone who ever dared to speak out. So this is what happens when U.S. foreign policy is driven by optics, not strategy. Trump and the MAGA crowd have always been isolationists at heart. They don't believe in intervention. They definitely don't care about regime change in Iran or help Ukraine win its war against Russia. The far left isn't much better either. They often focus on criticizing the West instead of standing up with the people of Iran. But somehow parts of the Iranian diaspora got convinced that Trump was their savior. Let's be honest, Trump never cared about you. And why would he? He wanted a deal. He said it again and again. Not democracy, not liberation, not regime change. He just wanted a deal. And now the regime survives. The people suffer, and the delusion continues.
Yep. I mean, that's what I said. Remember, guys, I told you guys that Trump just wants a deal. He has a deal fetish. He just wants a deal. He doesn't want, he just wanted a deal. Just like he wanted that with North Korea. It's just a repeat. Just like what he wanted with North Korea, just like what he wanted with Putin. He doesn't care about like Russian people, Ukrainian people, North Korean people. He just wants to sign giant deals, and then he just wants to be talked about positively on TV. That's what he wants. He wants high ratings. And okay, so this person here, Sana Ibrahimi, also an Iranian, saying an end to the war at this point is a death sentence for the Iranian people. And then somebody was responding to her saying, unfortunately, life is about opportunities. Iranians were crying out for help for years, but when the opportunity came, no one showed up. They were too afraid. In the end, Israel will look after its own interests, and so will the U.S. They will wish the Iranian people good luck, but ultimately it's their fight, not ours. And then Sana responded with this. She already posted this before. Let me actually retweet this. Sana was saying, telling Iranians to rise up during internet blackout is madness. It's like demanding someone run blindfolded through a minefield. They don't know where it's safe. They don't know how vulnerable the regime is. They don't know if they'll face the regime's bullets or falling bombs. This isn't reckless. It's cruel. Yeah, and also, by the way, the Iranian people have tried many times to rise up. They're unarmed. They've risen up multiple times against the regime and paid the heaviest price for it. I understand if we don't expect the Americans to come help Iranians topple the regime. We don't expect Americans to do that because there's not much mutual benefits in it, maybe for them. We're honest, okay? But if we're allies with Israelis, it's not because we think we want Israelis to come do something for the sake of the Iranian people. It's because the Iranian people and the Israeli people, their interests are aligned. So because the toppling of the Iranian regime, the Islamic Republic, it's an existential threat to Israeli people and the Iranian people at the same time. So this is why we don't expect Americans to help us, because we understand that Americans should not pay a price for something that doesn't benefit them directly. This is why we constantly consider ourselves allies with the Israelis, because we're not asking them something that is basically not in their interest. We're fighting the same enemy, right? And the Israeli people and the Iranian people and the Israeli people complete each other, because the Israelis have technology and weapons, and they have their air force, but they don't have the numbers. They don't have the people on the ground, but Iranian people are the only people that could eventually do a toppling of the regime. Like nobody could finalize the toppling of the regime just from bombing from the skies. Somebody needs to do something on the ground there. So if the Israelis want to get rid of the Islamic Republic, they need the Iranian people, and the Iranian people, if they want to get rid of the Islamic Republic, they need Israeli people. So this is why the request is mutual. So this is why it's safer for us to talk to Israelis and be united with them than the Americans. because yeah, it's too much of an expectation. It's too much of an ask from Americans, and I get that. I understand that, right? So let me actually show. But please also understand that we cannot ask too much. Like just like we cannot ask too much of other people. Like obviously we cannot ask too much from Americans. We're just asking them the minimum. We're asking them just to stay out of the way. We're not asking too much from Israelis. We're not asking for soldiers on the ground in Israel, obviously. Okay, we're just asking them to continue kicking ass and defending their citizens like they are. I mean, we don't even need to ask them. They're doing it regardless of anyone asking them. But we should also don't expect more than what Iranian people can pay, because Iranian people have experienced so much hardship for their protests in the streets. Like there has been so much blood spilled and with very little results. So to ask them to now also all of a sudden they the next uprising from by the Iranian people has to come with some more of a guarantee that it's going to lead to a toppling, because the Iranian people cannot keep paying the same price without it actually being leading to a toppling. We need to see Khamenei dead. We need to see most of IRGC dead. We need to see most of the Basij gone. We need to see most of the Niru Intizami gone, and we need some reassurance that if this time they come into the streets, it will actually lead to the toppling of the regime. Or else this is going to be just another time that they come into the street. We get a lot of them killed, a lot of them tortured, a lot of them raped, genuine, like men and women raped in prison as a weapon of war, just for them to see also not another toppling. So just be careful when you about what you ask of the Iranian people. Okay, I mean, I'm also advertising on the Persian channel for the people to eventually come into the streets, but the time needs to be right. We need to have some assurances that this is the last time. Like this time it's going to work. This time they're actually going to fall. By the way, in Iran, hardliners are celebrating a victory. All the social media accounts by hardliners are acting like they were forced to do a ceasefire because the Islamic Republic was beating their ass, and that Israel went and begged the United States to do a ceasefire because Israel could not handle it anymore, and Israel was about to fall. So they went to Trump and say, please, please, please get them to do a ceasefire because we cannot take it anymore. And in Iran, everybody is pretending like the Iranian regime won this war. This is an actual banner, a victory banner right now in Iran. Well, no, this is actually in southern Beirut, but the Iranian officials on their TV are they're having parties. They have music in Iran. They bring like the hardliners are out in the street waving their flags, thanking the regime for this glorious victory. Even though they lost half of their missile launchers, even though they lost most of their nuclear facilities that they spent more than $2 trillion for the past 40 years on it, even though they lost all of the heads of IRGC, even though around 1,000 Iranians died, and on the Israeli side, I think the number of people died is around 30. So think about this: the number on the Israeli side, the number of people who died. What's the latest number, guys? I think it's around 30. On the Iranian side, it's around 1,000. On the Israeli side, is around 30. Is around 30. And they're going around and claiming that this was an absolute victory. And they're angry with IRGC, their foreign minister, calling him a Zionist infiltrator because he accepted the ceasefire, because they were saying that we were just 2 steps away from toppling the Israel completely, and IRGC, by accepting the ceasefire, is proving to be a Zionist asset within our regime. That's what they think is happening. That's their version of reality. And also, just another reminder by the way, guys, make sure you like the stream. Look at this here. Emily saying the Islamic Republic is literally sending out messages to tens of thousands of Iranians, threatening them for liking. Let me remove this banner so you guys could see the whole thing. So people are getting text messages by the regime. The regime is telling them that we saw you liking pro-Israeli posts on social media and demanding that they remove it. Today, there were several reported executions of quote-unquote Mossad spies. The regime claims they caught. By the way, I will guys, do you know how obvious it is that this is a lie? Tell me in the chat how you could tell that this is a lie. That these people that Emily is not lying. The executions are happening, but the accusation that these people are spies are obviously a lie. I will tell you how obvious it is. Okay. And it's saying many Iranians are being subjected to searches of their homes and electronic devices and random checkpoints throughout the cities. By the way, so every time a regime comes to your home, they want to check everything. They want to check your phone. They will tell you to open your phone and log in so that they could check everything on your phone. So they will see all the activities, right? And then the regime is already lashing out on its own people like a dangerous wounded animal. So, guys, anybody got to know how we can be sure that these people right now, there are people being executed right now in Iran for being Mossad spies during these operations, okay? And the reason why we know, and basically with no right to defend themselves, no access to a lawyer, just really quickly executing them without no defense, nothing, no trial, nothing, right? And the reason why we know that they are obviously not Mossad spies is because if they were Mossad spies, they would be a major source of information for the regime and they would not be executing them right away. Like you have been, Mossad has been demonstrating how much of a upper hand they had when it comes to intelligence, knowing exactly where all your officers were, knowing all the activities within the Iranian regime, everyone's locations, everyone's numbers, everyone's activity. So they're everywhere. So if you actually find a Mossad spy, obviously you're not going to kill them. Obviously, you're going to try to extract as much information as you can from them for months and months and months, if not years. And they're saying we caught Mossad spies and we're killing them within minutes after they capture them. Obviously, they're not Mossad spies. Anyways, I gotta go. I have a cold. I'm gonna go try to work on this article. I'm trying to write for Colette on this on all of this. So, by the way, Colette reached out to me for an article, so I'm gonna go work on that now. By the way, guys, please make sure you like the stream. Please make sure you share this stream so that more people end up seeing our streams. Please make sure you leave a comment. Please make sure that you tell people that they need to come and watch Atheist Republic. Also, if you want me to do collaboration with anybody, please only do channels that are, really big, so that if I'm collaborating with them or going to their show, it ends up getting more visibility because my time is very limited. It wouldn't make sense for our channel to collaborate unless we will get a lot of exposure. Okay, so you can see here. Actually, let me put a banner here for my email. You could tell them to reach out to me. And guys, please don't send me emails asking me my opinions or sharing your opinions. I'm really, really busy. Okay. Just get people with large platforms to contact me if they want to collaborate. Okay, and again, only people with giant platforms, because my time is very limited, so I have to be very careful about how I spend my time. Okay, so please do that. And also, if you want to support this channel, you could also become a member. That would be very helpful. Okay, anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out, and thank you for being here. Thank you for all the criticisms and also the support, and till next stream. Oh, we're ending these streams this way from now. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Till next time.